I'm Philippe Boulle. I'm the game director on Dawn of War 3.
So, Philip, what are you showing here with Dawn of War 3?
We are showing the first gameplay for Dawn of War 3, an awesome mission where you get to play the Space Marines and fight against the Eldar. It's a bit of a football highlight reel is what we like to think of it. We took a 45-minute mission and boiled it down to a 15-minute demo of one awesome battle after another.
So let's talk about your transition from Dawn of War to Dawn of War 2 to now 3. What have you learned from the past two games that you're applying to Dawn of War 3, and what are you bringing back as well?
So Dawn of War 3 is the biggest, best, baddest Dawn of War yet. And with a franchise like this, one where there's a lot of fan expectation, where we've been making these games for 10 years, we really feel it's important to bring forward all the best things from the previous games. From Dawn of War 1, we were focusing on big battles, strategic depth, really that over-the-top action that's shaking the screen. In terms of features, one thing that's really exciting is we're bringing back base building. So, you'll be building your Space Marine base like you were in Dawn of War 1. From Dawn of War 2, we're bringing forward the elite heroes that we built so much love on in that product. These are the heroes that'll be the sort of hardcore in the middle of your giant army. They influence your overall style of play. Are you more a late game player and you want to bring in powerful units that can only deploy then? Are you an early game player, so you want to bring in elites that you can get out really quickly and get that power spike? That's what that brings forward. So taking those major things from Dawn of War 1 and Dawn of War 2, combining them in a really harmonious way, and then we really went back and made sure all of that was as crisp and fun and responsive as the modern strategy audience has come to expect.
Now, do the hero units, do they level up when you're playing the game as well and get bigger and badder, kind of like a Warcraft 3 in a way?
So that's something that we'll be talking about later on. But, I'm really glad to see you're excited about it. Those elite units will be a lot of fun, but we'll be getting into the details of progression later in the campaign.
So it's always a challenge when making a 40K game to decide what factions are going to be in the game. There are several factions, and then there are several sub-factions. What made you decide with Space Marine, Eldar, and Orc?
Really, it was the story. We wanted to tell a specific story that really exposed the 40K universe and the Dawn of War universe in a way that everyone could come in and really relate to and grab onto. And these are the three factions that really made that possible. They give a really nice variety of gameplay styles, but also perspectives. There's no Space Marines who are very noble, not good guys because they tend to nuke planets from orbit, but really they're all about purpose. There's the Eldar who are a little more mysterious. They're about destiny. And then there's the Orcs who are just over-the-top maniacs. And that merging those three perspectives or alternating between them really allowed us to tell the story we wanted to.
What was it like working with Games Workshop when developing Dawn of War 3?
It's been great. I've been at Relic for over 10 years. I've been working with Games Workshop throughout that time. And we have a great relationship. They trust us. We trust them. We're fans of their IP. Obviously, they're fans of our game. So we're both really excited to be bringing this product forward.
So you guys are also introducing new, bigger units like we saw in the CGI trailer, Wraith Knight, and you showed the Imperial Knight.
Yes, we did. These are our super elites, and they're those late game powerhouses I was talking about. They're the biggest, best units we've ever done. And not to toot my own horn, but I really think that these are the best RTS units that I've ever played with. They are really fun powerhouses, but they also have lots of fun counterplay to them. They're not invulnerable units. They're these great things that will, allow you to dominate the battlefield unless the enemy knows how to, start outflanking them. They're a great concentration of power, but you can't spread a single Imperial Knight across the whole battlefield, obviously.
So you can talk about, in most RTSs you have different types of units, obviously, but in this game, it's more classes of units. You have normal units, elite units, and then heavy units.
So we have line units, who are the classic RTS units that you would think of, and they have a whole tech tree. They come in tiers, as you know, traditional RTS units do. You can build a bunch of them up to your POC cap. You use resources, and then we have elites and super elites. They are units that you select ahead of play, and they influence your play style. The super elites are, what's really different about them is just their sheer size. They're those late game powerhouses like the Imperial Knight and the Wraith Knight.
So we can talk about some of the abilities that the super elite units have in the Space Marine campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. So Solaria, the Imperial Knight that we show in the demo, has 2 active abilities. One is her Gatling Barrage, which allows her to lay down a carpet of fire in front of her. She has these 2 giant Gatling cannons as arms. You know, why have 1 Gatling cannon when you can have 2? And she sweeps them in front of her and just devastates a cone. Her other ability is called the Iron Storm. So this uses a missile pod that's on her back, and she can pick up to 6 targets in the field and drop missiles across them. And that is my favorite ability in the game right now. I use it a lot. I've played this demo a lot, and it just does not get old. She also has some passive abilities that, you know, we didn't draw too much attention to in the demo, but they're there. She can overheat as she attacks. But what's interesting is that does slow her down, but it also adds extra effects to her abilities. So the Iron Storm missile, when fired when she's overheated, she'll leave these pools of fire in the ground, so she can do area denial with it.
When does Dawn of War 3 come out? What platforms will it be on?
Dawn of War 3 is a PC game. We've been building PC games for nigh on 20 years now, and that's where the studio's love is. That's where our hearts are, and that's where we're releasing on, and we'll be releasing next year.